Series part 1, we entered just some juicy topics. Now we are back and we're carrying on. We're going to talk about some things that happened after flying, which is a whole other crazy situation.
Oh, yes.
And then part 3, we're going to talk about what Karen did to get the job after 20 rejections. So, Karen, you said that you flew for 5 years.
Yes.
Actually, can I ask you, before you were flying, what were you doing?
I was working in a theme park in Singapore as a performer.
Wait.
And then, yes, live performance.
Yep.
And then that was when I met the boyfriend. And while he was flying and while I was training, while I was like trying to get in, I went to do hotel management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I signed
as a stepping stone? Like as a stepping stone to become crew?
Correct. So you do whatever it takes, right? You're trying to, okay, this doesn't work. Maybe if I have hotel experience, they would, you look better on the resume rather than a street performer. So, but I'm telling you, that's not it. But we'll talk about that in part 3. That's not the reason.
Really? A lot of people invest money and do courses for that.
Oh, yes. So did I.
Right. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I did whatever it took.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. So what happened to you after you flew for 5 years? What then happened? What were you expecting to happen after you flew?
I thought that because you're so well treated when you are a crew, you go to clubs, they let you in, like, you don't even need to queue straight in. They know who you are because you're spending money there, right?
Yeah.
And because usually and they have this impression so after one of the first jobs that I got straight after I stopped flying was I worked in a club as a public relations manager. And then I realized why they always let the cabin crew in, because they are spenders, and the people who come in, they spend, as well as they bring in the men. That's why, because if the club has a reputation that cabin crew hangs out here, then the men will come in and then they will spend money.
So now you're seeing the other side of the business. Right. And was that, how long did you take before you got your first job after flying?
It took me months. It wasn't as easy as I thought. Like, even if I thought, I could easily go to the hotel industry and, concierge or something. No, not really. Even with my training, because I haven't, been in the line for so long, you go in thinking you're going to get a managerial position because you've flown with bloody Singapore Airlines. No, it's the reality of it is it's nothing. When they look at your actual skill set, you can serve tea and coffee, you can serve chicken or fish, all right? You can point to the emergency exit. That's all you're good for, really.
So,
unfortunately, isn't it? That's a bit rough, isn't it?
Well, no, but you're right. That was my problem, is that I thought I was fully qualified, got a degree, but I didn't use that degree for 7 years. I was like, can evacuate 493 people within 90 seconds. Who cares? We don't need the skill in our marketing department. And so what did you do? Actually, what did you do when you realized that?
You very quickly have to eat humble pie, a lot of it. So I went and applied for a management trainee job with, I don't know if you remember Delhi, France. It is like a French.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they took me in, thank God. Because at least you had a degree. I didn't. I went straight from high school. Straight from high school, I went, because, I did the diploma. I have a diploma in hotel management, but that was it. There wasn't any practical that went with it. So they took me in, and then and I worked there. It wasn't as easy, and a lot of my friends, they can't find jobs, so they get married and they stay at home and look after children.
Oh, right. So that became like the common go-to. Gigi is saying that's fascinating. I work in retail, so I totally understand. The job market is wild. Yeah, when you're going for a new job. But you've made a big pivot because you're now a branding coach. You actually work with businesses now and you coach them in how to brand themselves in the online space. There's a
That's
big
right.
gap coming from where you came from, you know, doing the management training for Deli France, like cafe, to what you're doing now.
So
What's
my
that?
story is actually pretty classic as well, because then I would do whatever it takes, right? Because I come from a low income family. So I have to work to make money. I don't care what job I do. So I learned very quickly, you know, can't get the front of house manager role. So I just have to do whatever it takes. And then I met my husband. You'll be amazed at the jobs I did though.
Oh,
I
tell
did
us.
door to door sales. I did. What else? Some crazy shit I did. Anyway, oh my God, I worked in Hooters.
Oh, you worked at Hooters after Singapore Air?
For 2 days.
Oh, really? What
They
happened?
took me in. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way they're like this. They objectify women so badly. It was not funny. I just could not do it.
Yeah, but you were willing to. You were willing to just see what it was like. What were the emotions that you were feeling having come from this kind of, you felt like you were highly respected and highly like valued, and then finding yourself in all of these different positions where you just actually, like, what was that like for you? What was going through your head?
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
What was it like for you going from this kind of highly valued, that's the impression, that's the illusion that you get when you're crew, right? That you're respected, that you are known, you are seen, and then you go into this place where it's like you actually have none of that anymore, and you're doing all of the different jobs. What was going through your head when you saw that big difference?
I guess because growing up, I started coming out to work when I was 12. So survival wasn't an issue. The only problem I faced was the spending habits.
Oh, really? In what way? So can you give us an example?
Because for us, when we fly, the money comes in 5 working days after you land back to base. So the flow, the money is constant. The flow is constant. And I don't. So again, I've been raised with no respect for money as well. So I don't know how to take care of money. It comes in, it goes out straight away. So when you have to wait for 30 days to get paid, I struggle.
Right.
Yeah, I really
because
struggle.
your spending habits changed when you became crew, but then it had to change again. I'm going like this because that's what it kind of feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And the thing is, it wasn't too scary for me because I was still married then. But I chose to stop. I knew I had to leave because I'm looking at my seniors. When you fly past 15 years or 10 years even, if you leave too late, you're too old for anything else. So I know at the very least I have youth on my side.
Right.
If I leave quickly.
Right.
So I thought I should do that.
I do have a question if that was the frame of mind that you're in, that you had, youth on your side. There are lots of crew who have been made redundant through this season, and this is people who are senior, people who have been flying 10, 15, 20 years, and now they're facing what you faced when you resigned, and they are in their more senior years because they never planned on resigning.
That's right.
What is your advice to them? Like if someone was in that purser role, like purser is the most senior on flight.
Oh, yeah.
You were the boss of everyone. You got the best of everything.
That's right.
And let's say that person's just been let go of now. What do you have to say to them?
I feel bad. I really do.
Look, it's rough, right? It's rough. It's rough. I say this, like, your first couple of years is going to be rough. And if you just accept that and don't even resist it and the first part is to accept that it's going to be rough, because at least hey, whatever happens here, it's not the be all and end all of anything.
That's it.
It's literally going to be your growing point, but your perception, you need to be open for that to come into your perception. Because if you focus on it just being the downhill of your life, it's rough. It's going to be extra rough.
Yeah, because the thing is this, right? Even those whom I know who retire, because it's time to retire, they still struggle with it because they don't know what to do with themselves.
Right.
And so for these ones who are forced to quit, that's even harder.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, I don't know about other airlines, but especially those who have grown through the ranks in Singapore Airlines,
Mm-hmm.
as they grow in rank, the ego grows with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard for them to come down from the pedestal though. So it is a real struggle, really.
Yeah. What would you do? Would you have any sort of advice of what they can do for the first, for the first 6 months, 12 months? Like, what is, in your mind, the best approach to this kind of transition to someone who's just been let go of? But that's the roughest. Like, no one ever talks about it, but this is the
No,
time that
no,
people lose themselves, and it's
that's
pretty
right.
much yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
But the thing is, the important thing is, before you were a cabin crew, you were something else. You have something that you love doing. So
Mm,
this is part of what I do as well. It's helping people find what is their true meaning though in this
mm,
life, in this lifetime. Besides flying, what else will give you meaning? You need to find that.
mm,
Because if you cannot pivot your thoughts, then you're gonna fixate though. You're gonna keep looking back as you're wasting your current time on earth, and then it won't help you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's very powerful, because you're right. It's like in reality, there's no real true one answer for any one person. But if you can recognize that this is going to be a bit tough, but that's because you're going to be required to do a little bit of self-discovery. You're going to need to know where you want to go in life, but also realize that there's a real opportunity right now to build the life that you want. I think, Karen, you're a great example of building a life that you want. I live the life that I want through but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of intuition. It was a lot of making decisions that people don't understand. People around you may not understand. Highly likely they won't. They're not going to understand what your life
That's
is
right.
like and what you want, what your standards are, because they did not live that same life as you. This is when you clue into your intuition, yourself, really.
That's
But
it.
so thank you, guys. Now we're going to hop into Karen's going to share with us what happened. She didn't get the job after 19 times, but she did get it on the 20th time. We've frozen. Hello, yes. Sorry,
Yeah, 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 I'm
it
here.
froze on my side. So we're going to trim this live just now, and then we're going to go into part 3, where Karen's going to walk us through all of her process, all of the trainings that she invested time and money in, what didn't work, what actually worked, which wasn't those courses, in the part 3 of this live. So see you guys in like 30 seconds to 1